Welcome, everybody. Hello, I'm Madeline Casey. I'm the lead coordinator and programmer for London Breeze. And you're very welcome to this first Women of Film in Conversation. We're hoping that this will be an occasional series where we talk to women in the industry. It's important to us to raise women's voices. It's part of our programming to include at least half of the films in the program will be from women filmmakers. We inaugurated the Women of Film Award last year, and we're very pleased to have the winner of that award with us today. And it's something that we're going to continue into our next edition and on into the future. We have a dedicated program of short films as part of the program, which will be women filmmakers. So we just think it's very important to kind of foreground women's voices in the industry. Coming up as well in March, we have a short film program of films from our festival last year. And we've got some amazing documentaries, fictions and animation. We have 12 films that are going live on International Women's Day on our Breeze Online platform. And you can find out more about that on our website. And we also have submissions open now for filmmakers from all over the world, all styles, all genres over there on Film Freeway. So do check us out if you have a film that you would like to introduce to us and maybe be in our festival next year. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to our guests. We're delighted to have with us actress, producer, author, and London Breeze ambassador, in particular for our Women of Film initiative. And that is Sundra Oakley, who's joining us from Jamaica. And also, so Sundra will be talking to the winner of the inaugural Women of Film Award last year, Daisy Ifama. And we've known Daisy for the last 2 years, and her short film Twinkleberry was in the festival 2 years ago, a short documentary. And her second short documentary, Set Pace, won our best UK short documentary last year. And we thought she was the perfect person to give really an exciting emerging voice in documentary. So I'll hand over now to Sundra and Daisy.
Daisy, it was really great meeting you during the festival at the end of last year, and congratulations once again on your accomplishments. It's I love when I see especially a young woman filmmaker, making strides and just blossoming in their career. So I kind of felt like I had this little, I don't know, big sister love and appreciation. I was like, yes, yes, that pride, I should say. So it was really an honor to meet you. It was really an honor to meet you. And, I'm glad that we're able to do this talk today.
Me too. Yeah, no, it was so lovely to meet you and watch Love Aside, and it was just a great night. I feel like that energy of like support, especially amongst the women filmmakers and women kind of like actors and producers in the room was really great. And was it you had a writer? The writer of Love Upside was also on the panel with you. Yeah. It was just a lovely night. And I know Carol, who was like the star of my film, was also just so in awe, and she was like, it's perfect, we've got a Jamaican film. So excited about that. So great night.
Tell me, a little bit about your journey and like how you started.
When I was thinking about this chat we were going to have, I was like, it has actually now been a decade of like me making films. But I always used to film stuff at home with my friends. My mum got me this little camera back in like 2006 or something. and I was really annoying, just running around filming people all the time. And went off to university thinking that I would do journalism. I was really obsessed with pop culture and kind of like celebrity gossip. And then I got there and was like, oh, actually, I want to do documentary. So I made a documentary film for my final year. It was about an academy footballer at the time and whether he was going to, make it and break through into the Premier League. And after university, I was a little bit like, I don't know if I've got any skills. Like, I don't know how to like translate my filmmaking. This is in like 2015, so the landscape was slightly different. I didn't really know how to translate that into like a tangible. I was like, what is my tangible skill? And I was like, well, I can edit. So then I was like, that feels like something you can kind of put on your CV and get work for. It's like a proper sit down tangible skill that people will need. And so I started editing, and then very quickly was like, I need to direct because I'm so frustrated with all of the footage that I'm getting given, and I don't feel like people have thought about the story. And then I'm really having to craft the story in the edit. And maybe I've worked with a lot of male directors, and they really were such great visual artists, but I just didn't feel like they had really thought through the chunks of the story. And a great editor would be very happy to build that story, but I kind of was like, no, I think I need to direct actually. And then just like filmed things with my friends. Me and my friends, we set up an online magazine called Gaudem. And I had a friend, really great friend, called Yera Timibu, and she's a fantastic writer director. And she was the first person who actually started referring to me as a director. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess like I do that. And we both got a little bit of funding, made some films, and then from that point just became, more confident in filmmaking, was given a lot of different opportunities by people in the industry, applied for like every piece of funding under the sun. And I've been really lucky that it's just kept going. When I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and I'm sure you're going to relate to this too. I think women in film are really great at doing lots of different roles. Yourself as a producer and a writer and an actress, like just kind of getting in every single space and doing something different that's all around like the filmmaking process. And I've been lucky that it's all, whatever role it is, it's all kind of like kept going. But I'd love to hear from you, like your perspective on that, kind of doing different roles. And is acting your kind of, I know it is your main kind of passion, but how does the producing and the writing like tie into all of that?
It's been a very organic process for me, because if you had asked me even 5 years ago, would you see yourself writing? Could you see yourself producing? No. I would throw up my hands like this and be like, I can't possibly, I don't know. It felt like this very ethereal thing that I couldn't possibly do myself, right? So having now ventured into those spaces, now it was very organic. It was really like, oh, I have this idea. Let me just jot down something in the notes, right? And then, oh, okay, I met this, I would like it to look like this, like I would like it to look like that. And I'm saying this, I'd like it, meaning, for example, I have a screenplay, I have a documentary, that are all on my slate that I'm working on. And it was just, look, yes, as women, I think it's just part of us as women, we've learned to have to adapt and fill in roles. It's just been the nature of the species, right? You add into being women of color, where we've had to adapt. We've had to learn how to do multiple things out of necessity, usually not even given the option to not have to do that. So it's kind of part and parcel of who we are. Yeah. And then you throw in being an artist now on top of that, where, as much as people love the arts and love the output, very few tend to regard highly what it takes to get to the output. And especially in early stages, right? Especially coming from, like, I'd say, a culture where we appreciate the movie, and we appreciate the actors. I'm just using that as an example, but you know, you don't see what it's like when you're having to do little for no pay gigs to fill up your CV and to get your training, and then you're doing a little commercial advert here, and you may be doing a pantomime there, and you're doing this. People don't see all of that. That is the tumbleweed that's gathering, you know, and getting bigger so that you can have something that perhaps is more quote unquote revered. And I've done it all, you know. I went to NYU, Tisch School of the Arts, the drama school, and you know, I, in my naivete, thought, oh, yes, within a couple of months, I will be on a TV show and it will be good. You know, I'll be ready. And I thank God that I didn't get exactly what I wanted in the time that I wanted it. So I've had a very journeyed career. I've done everything from television commercials. I remember doing a toy, what they call it, a toy fair, where I got to place, I was a Spice Girl because I have curly hair despite what you see today. And, you know, and that's what we do as performers. We take the gigs as wherever we can and to survive. And because we love what we do, you know, I find that I'm flying the plane as I build it. Yeah. I went to school to learn how to write. I haven't studied being a producer. It's been the school of life and of work, right? Where I'm learning on the go and having learned to say, I need help. Can you teach me? Or can you show me? Or, you know, the wonderful University of YouTube where you can find a lot of things. Yeah.
I love that. I love that plane analogy for sure. And it makes you, I always think it makes you so much stronger in your main practice when you also understand how the infrastructure works. Like what that is doing, you know, a slightly different role within the same realm. So like if I direct a music video versus a documentary, or you be in a pantomime versus like a high production TV show, or be a producer and then you understand like, you know, or a writer when the writer's really trying to explain to you like, this is the type of character it is. Like you can really get into the brain of like these different roles. And yeah, I think that makes us all stronger. And I also think it would just be boring if we just did the same thing. I don't think it's, like you said, I mean, it's quite literally in our DNA to, out of necessity, have to have a lot of like, what's the phrase, like strings to your bow.
Sure.
But I also would never like have it any other way. Like I want to learn more.
Exactly. And, you know, when you think about it, when we're making film, when we're making television, no one person is an island. I mean, we are literally pieces of fabric that are quilted together, you know, sewn together to make this quilt, right? Yeah. It's not the individual thread. It's not the individual piece of fabric. It's all comes together. And, you know, with, I guess it could be said for pretty much anything in this world, but especially with what we're doing, it all has to come together to make the final product. And if you can understand, you know, and if you can understand the perspective of each different entity, of course it makes it stronger. You know, when as an actor, you realize why do I have to, I don't know, I'm just saying this, be mic'd to a certain now, or, you know, why do I need it there? Why does it have to be there? And it can feel uncomfortable, but then you don't realize because it affects the sound that then affects the final product that then has to maybe be corrected in post, which, you know, there's just this overall effect that, you know, we all are a part of the whole, and it's not just one person that makes the film or that makes the television show. And it's a necessity. And I love learning. I love learning what it is that each entity does. And, you know, like producing, it's such a broad category. Yeah. And, you know, even I still to this day, I'm like, okay, what exactly is the difference between this and that producer versus this producer? Yeah. So tell me, what was it, the film that you had at the film festival?
Yeah.
Right. That was that your first film?
No. So I'd been at London Breeze the year before with a film called Twinkleberry that I made with Netflix UK, which was really fun. And we were actually very lucky we were nominated for Best Doc. And then last year, so 2025, yeah, my film Set Pace that I made with TNT Sports and Warner Brothers, that was nominated and won the Best Doc, which was very exciting. And yeah, I've made so many shorts now. I don't know what number of shorts it is, but it was my first time working kind of like professionally within a sport. So it's about motorsport. This great woman called Carol Glenn is the UK's first black woman to run a race.
Daisy, what do you have, like, what's in store for you now? Can you share a little bit about what you have in the works? Or
Yeah. So I just finished a short doc with BFI Doc Society called Rap Baby, and it's about a rapper called Carter the Bandit. And he's from South London, and he kind of like started making drill music, which is like a very like, well, exists in New York and Chicago too, but it's like a very like South London centric sound. And he's also gay. And so it was about his kind of like journey to see if the music industry is kind of going to be accepting of his sexuality, whether he's just only going to ever perform in queer spaces and not break out of that. And we filmed him for a year. And he's really interesting. We're entering the festival circuit, so I'm hoping for some good news soon. And yeah, aside from that, I mean, just doing all the different lots of other different like small projects, juggling a lot of different things, doing a bit of creative branded entertainment stuff, and trying to write my first script. I've never worked scripted at all. That's a completely new venture, but I'm enjoying it. Yeah,
that's so cool. Yeah, I love that. I can. Well, so Love Offside, when we were at London Breeze, we were still waiting for a distributor, and I think we're getting close, which is good, which is really, really good. There was a sci-fi film that I shot last year, at the top of last year, and we're just waiting to hear when that's going to come out, which was fun because I'd never done anything of that genre before. So it was really exciting as a performer to do everything in front of a green screen and, all of that type of stuff. Personally, I've officially formed my production company, Land of Wood and Water LLC. So, and as I was talking about on my slate, I have a feature, a documentary, and a animated short based on my children's picture book that I released. And yes, so that's that's all in the works, and it takes up a lot of time to trying to find funding, trying to find the resources, and doing everything in that, in addition to also still being an actor, so it's the journeyman creative is what we are. So that was really cool. And being a part of the London Breeze Film Festival and having Love Offside be the closing night film, and having so many people communicate how much they related to even though it was a Jamaican film, and it just showed such a wide variety of people in Jamaica. And then to have people say, I am not Jamaican, I am not even from the Caribbean, but I related to this so much. That's what we want, to show how we're so much more universal and so much more, and have so much more in common than our particular walls would have us be in,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, universal love story for sure.
Yes, and just in terms of people, we're all just different. We have different foods, we have different languages, and especially now when the world's walls are kind of erasing a bit, where it's more we can easily access what it's like for a person of our age range, let's say, for example, who lives halfway around the world. We have access to that, which I think is a beautiful thing, So I wanted to ask you, how do you feel, or what do you think is the importance of having women-focused programs and awards, such as what London Breeze is doing. I would love to hear from your perspective. We're different generations, and which I love, and I always love hearing perspective that's different from
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah, I think I do think it's important. I've been the recipient of different like women focused programs or black focused programs, or when I was young youth focused programs.
Mhm.
And I do think that people are lazy and they don't look for it unless it's put in front of them. So I think when you have these specific programs that are part of something, that's wider and slightly more universal, um, there's people that will never ever ever come across my work because they
Mhm.
won't be seeking it out. But if it's put in front of them, that leads me to a conversation and then potentially leads to a new job. So I do think it's key. I just don't think it can be the only thing. We should have
Mhm.
these programs to kind of lift up voices that are underrepresented, but that can't be the only way that women are getting awarded or black people are getting awarded, or lots of different types of groups. When we look to the BAFTAs, the Oscars, all of these like really key important award shows, I don't think they're getting it right.
I definitely think you're right in terms of not getting it right. And I think it's really important for people to know that these things, these entities that we have looked up to and perhaps revered for many years, that there's a lot behind the veil that we're not privy to. So I think once we allow ourselves to be disavowed of the this heavy credence that's put on these long-standing institutions of like the BAFTAs and the Oscars, I think it's a little bit more freeing in terms of that. And I think we have to admit, if we really want to be real, that highlighting the accomplishments and giving a step up for women, um, people of color, it is important, because whether people even are willing to accept it or not, people have biases, and they may not even think that they do. And they are probably more privy to, they're prone to looking through a particular lens, to think, oh, for example, only a man can direct an action movie,
Mhm.
right? And not thinking that a woman could, which has been proven. So, I think as many strides as perhaps has been made, there is still a lot that needs to be done.
Mhm.
And I find it is up to us to shine a light where perhaps a light wouldn't have received any kind of stage. There'd be no platform for women, for people of color, for women of color. And I think it is important, because I think we can see worldwide that you know there are instances where you're thinking, what year is this? Are we going backwards? And it just proves that, yeah, things like this are needed. Venues like this, stages like this are needed.
Absolutely. And I do think it's a great time to be a woman in film because we're making good stuff. Everybody around
Yeah.
is working so hard and is just making incredible work, making incredible strides, are doing things completely differently, bringing different ideas to institutions that haven't changed for 100 years. And it's amazing to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Um, when you attend something like London Breeze and you're seeing there's a Jamaican film as the closing film, like that's incredible for somebody who lives in London and considers my city to be a little Jamaica. Like it's fantastic.
It is. It really it is. It's super exciting. And I think, that night when we had the Q&A, and there were people standing up and saying, I'm not Jamaican, but I loved and related to this. That to me is the proof that this works and this type of platform is needed, right? How many people, how many more people can relate to other stories that have nothing to do with their culture, maybe nothing to do with their gender, and say, oh, I relate, because at the end of the day, it's a human experience that we're trying to express through our art, and that to me was very telling, to have so many people stand up and say, I could relate. I felt to this. And then afterwards coming up to me, thank you so much. That was so amazing. So all these different talking heads that claim, oh, there's not an audience for this. There's not an audience for that. Nobody wants to see this. I mean, come on.
You're just not looking, you're not opening your worldview wide enough.
Yeah.
That's it. You're the one that's in a small contained world where everything is the same. And there's everybody else who is able to relate to lots of different types of stories. And you need to look to the global majority.
Which, yes, the global majority.
Yeah.
The global majority. And I think that's great. And that's, that's why, honestly, it was really so, it was an honor and a pleasure when I got to meet you, because, I'm seeing you and, seeing that your work is being given a platform and a shine and a recognition, and to just know what you have coming up and what you are doing. It again, I have this big sister pride, because I'm looking at you and seeing where, like, wow, there probably was a young girl who maybe thought she couldn't do what Daisy is doing, and what an inspiration she's going to be to somebody younger than her. I mean, please, I may be looking to you for a job very soon.
I'd love to. I would love to work together. I absolutely would love to work together.
And that's really cool. Sure. Yeah, that would be so amazing. And I'm super proud of you, and super proud to be, working alongside you through, the London Breeze Film Festival, and really excited for what you have coming down the pipeline, and, how I can help support in whichever way that I can.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, it was, you were also, my highlight from London Breeze, and I'm excited to see this sci-fi film. Sounds great.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to talk some more off camera about, all the different things, because, my plan is also to be spending more time in London, actually.
Yes.
I have representation in London, and it's part of the plan is for me this year to come over and be spending a longer period of time. So.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, both of you, Daisy Ifama, Sundra Oakley. What a pleasure to listen in to that conversation, and you are both absolutely inspiring people. I can't wait to see more of both of your works, and I do, and exciting to hear you're going to be in London again, Sundra, so that will be great. And just to remind everybody that actually we can see Daisy's film Set Pace, that won at London Breeze last October, as part of our Women of Film Real Her, and that's real with a double E. See what we did there? Real Her program on for 1 week only, from the 8th of March on Breeze Online. And if you go over to our website, everybody who's listening in, catch Daisy's film and 11 other amazing films by women. And so thank you very much. Round of applause.
Thank you.